guys, Mrs. Moore here. Let's do this second study guide together. Number 1 says, Happy Paw Supply distributes dog food to pet stores. Its markup rate is 28%. Which equation represents the new price of a bag of dog food, Y, given an original price, X? Okay, key word here is markup rate. Okay, we're going to mark up. In that case, your equation is going to be 1 plus your percent as a decimal times the original. OG is original. 1 plus our percent as a decimal, 28% divided by 100, you get 0.28 times your original number. We don't know our original number yet, so it'll be X in this case. 1 plus 0.28 is just 1.28 times X, it's just X, okay? We'll have Y equals 1.28X, and the options are right here, B. Number 2, a tablet is discounted 30%. If the sale price was $840, what is the original price rounded to the nearest dollar? Okay, when we're trying to find the original, you always start with your price divided by, okay? Since it's a discount, we're going to subtract 1 minus our percent. There's our formula. Our price was $840 divided by 1 minus. Your percent is 30. 30% as a decimal is just 0.3 or 0.30, 0.30, however you want to say it. 840 stays the same, divided by 1 minus 0.3 is just 0.7. And you'll take a calculator and then you'll divide it. 840 divided by 0.7 is 1,200, 1,200. A. Number 3, a group's dinner bill before tax was $82.75. Sales tax is 7%. They want to leave a 15% tip before tax. What is their total bill rounded to the nearest cent? Okay, here's your formula. Bill plus bill times tax plus bill times tip. Let's put our numbers in there. Our bill was $82.75. Every time it says bill, we're going to replace it with $82.75. Okay, next, multiply it by our tax over here and multiply by our tip over here. Our tax rate, says up here, sales tax rate is 7%. 7% as a decimal is 0.07. Okay. Now over here, our tip percent, they want to leave a 15% tip over here. 15% as a decimal is 0.15. The last step, we just have to multiply this out and then add it all together. So I'm going to bring down my 82.75 because that doesn't change. Plus, let's multiply these. 82.75 times 0.07. That gives us 5.7925. I'm going to round that to 5.79 plus 82.75 times, 0.15. 12.41. Remember, since we're dealing with money, I'm always going to round to the nearest hundredth, okay? That's the second spot after the decimal. Since 2 is less than 5, we just leave that a 1. 12.41. Let's add all 3 of these together. 82.75 plus 5.79 plus 12.41 equals 100.95. B. 4, a manufacturer packages flour in 25 kilogram bags with an allowable error of 2%. What is the acceptable weight range for a bag of flour? Okay, our range equation is going to look like original minus your original times percent and your original plus original times percent. Okay, original is 25, okay? 25 minus 25 times your percent is 2%. 2% as a decimal is 0.2. Okay, now this one is 25 plus 25 times, sorry, 0.02, excuse me, times 0.02. Now we have to calculate these all out. Okay, 25 times 0.02, we'll do it on a calculator. 0.5. So now it'll be 25 minus 0.5. And over here is 25 plus 0.5. Okay, if you don't know how to do this in your head, and that's totally fine if you don't, please, please, please do it on a calculator. You'll get 24.5 as your first number, and then 25 plus 0.5 is just 25.5. Here are your two numbers. Okay, so that'll be A. Number 5. A store's original price for a desk chair is $320. The sale price is $224. What is the percent decrease? This is talking about a percent change. Your formula is going to be difference divided by original times 100. We've done this many, 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 many times. Difference means subtract. We need to subtract first. 320 minus 224. It's going to be 96. Okay, that's what goes in your numerator. Divided by the original. You start at 320. Typically, it's just the one that's listed first, or if it says it starts at, or it's from, or the original price is, that means it's the original, okay? Now we take 96 divided by 320, okay? Please don't take 320 divided by 96. 96 is at the top, so you have to start with that. 96 divided by 320. That gets you 0.3. Last step, multiply it by 100, and that will get you 30. 30% B. Backside. 7. Sophia sells televisions for a yearly salary of $52,000 plus a 4% commission on total sales. If she sells $900,000 of televisions in 1 year, what are her total earnings? Okay, this one is sales times percent plus salary. We've had lots of practice with this one. Your sales, it is not 52,000, okay? That says her salary is 52,000, so we need to keep reading. If she sells 900,000, that's how much she sells, so that is her sales. 900,000 times your percent. 4% as a decimal, 0.04, 0.04, however you want to write it. Let's do that on a calculator. We're going to get 36,000. That is not my final answer, though, because we still need to add our salary. She makes a salary of 52,000. So let's add 52,000. Now we get 88,000. Make sure you write your dollar sign beforehand because that's money. $800,000. 8. Miss Lee purchases a new car for $32,000 with a 6-year simple interest loan at 4.5%. What are her monthly payments? Rounded to the nearest cent. Okay, this one is a little bit long. P times R times T plus P divided by months. Let's put our numbers in there. P stands for principal, okay? That means it's going to be your starting number, this large number here, however much you take out for the loan. 32,000 times your rate is 4.5%. As a decimal, that's 0.045. Times your time, okay? Times your years. I said 6 years times 6. Do that on a calculator. 32,000 times 0.045 times 6. You should get 8,640. Next 2 steps, we need to add our principal and then divide by the number of months. We already know our principal was $32,000, so let's add $32,000. You get $40,640. I'm still not done. We still need to divide by the number of months. It says that this is over 6 years, so we need to find out how many months are in 6 years. If you don't know that, you take your number of years times 12, because there's 12 months in a year. 6 times 12 is 72, so I'll just divide this by 72. Okay, on your calculator, you get 564 it says 0.44444444. Okay, we're dealing with money. We need to round to the nearest cent, so that means 2 places past the decimal point. It's called our hundredth spot. 564.44. Okay, P times R times T plus P divided by months. Number 9. Marcus wants to tip his waiter 18%. Write an equation that shows the tip y if his total bill is X dollars. All right, this one they are only asking for the tip. They don't want the total, nothing like that. They just want the tip. Our tip is 18%. 18 as a decimal is 0.18. Your equation will just be y equals 0.18, 0.18. I don't really care how you write it, X. Number 10. A retailer buys jackets for $40 each and marks them up 45%. How much does the retailer charge per jacket? Okay, our markup equation, it's gonna look like 1 plus your percent as a decimal times the original. Let's plug in our numbers. 1 plus, we have 45%. 45% as a decimal is 0.45 times your original number is 40. Okay, on a calculator, if you can't do this in your head, 1 plus 0.45 is 1.45. No shame if you can't do that in your head. Please use your calculator. Times 40. 58. $58. There we go. 11, arguably the hardest one. Mrs. Patel and her family dine at a restaurant. She wants to give a 25% tip and the restaurant's tax is 8%. Part A, which terms should be used to write an equation for the total cost y given the pre-tax bill x? All right, here's your equation. Bill plus bill times tax plus bill times tip. We've used this before. We just need to plug in our numbers and our variables. We don't know how much the bill actually was. They said that the pre-tax bill can be represented by the variable x. Okay, so wherever I see the word bill, I'm going to replace it with an x. Okay, all I've done is replaced bill with an x. Now, let's figure out our tax. Okay, 25% tip, and the tax is 8%. 8% as a decimal, 0.08. Okay, this one is for our tip. They want to leave a 25% tip. 25% as a decimal is 0.25. Okay, let's simplify these terms in the parentheses. I'm going to bring down my x. X times 0.08 is just 0.08x. Okay, and x times 0.25 is just 0.25x. Here are your 3 terms. Now let's look and see if those are our options. Is there one that says x? Yes, it's A. Is there one that says 0.08x? Yes, that's D. Is there one that says 0.25x? Yes, that's C. Part B, by what percent does the cost of the meal increase with tax and tip? Our tax was 8%, our tip was 25%, Just add them together. Do it on the calculator if you need to, no shame. 8 plus 25 is 33. Your answer will be 33%. I'm gonna write increase as well. 33% increase. Okay, your test will look nearly identical to this. The questions will look nearly identical to this. They're just different numbers, okay, different scenarios. But if you can understand this, front and back, you should be golden. Watch this video as many times as you need. Practice these questions as many times as you need. Rewrite it until it becomes muscle memory, okay, however you're going to choose to study.